Can you just take a second to acknowledge the fact that I'm actually wearing makeup in a video right now? Also, I forgot to say I did record 2 clips from 2 random days. The other day I hung out with Sarah and Andrew, and then there's a clip from the hotel that we stayed at. Yeah, and I made a new intro. I'm probably gonna like change it again, but I just made it a new one. Sarah, Andrew, and I are probably gonna hang out more now since we live closer to each other. So yeah, just wanted to add that in here because I'm gonna put those clips at the end, and I didn't want you guys to be like confused at like what that is, or I might put it like now, probably before, and then get into the story. So my mom and I are in a hotel right now. I wasn't gonna vlog today, but I just had to show you guys something. Well, this is our room. It's very basic. There's nothing over there, but you guys want to see what the closet looks like, or whatever this is? This is our closet. That's not even a closet, and I guess, is that supposed to be the dresser, I'm guessing? Yeah, that's interesting. You say hi? Oh, okay, my Lord. I'm getting you beating your mom on camera. You say hi? Oh. You say hi. Say I'm being shy. He's like, I am so shy. I came to visit this little guy, but he wants nothing to do with me. He's crazy. Yep. Oh my God. Hey everyone. Long time no talk. I know you guys are probably wondering where I've been, and this vlog is just gonna be me explaining that. It's not gonna be a normal vlog. It's just gonna be me sitting here explaining the crazy, scary, overwhelming week that I have had. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on that. So last Thursday, the 13th, my mom and I went out to the Bay Area because we haven't like switched our doctors over to here yet, and my mom had to go out there because she was gonna have a surgery, like a relatively like non-invasive surgery, like outpatient procedure. She got to go home the same day and everything, but she had to be there at like 8 o'clock Friday morning, and we live like 2 hours away, just about 2 hours away from there. So we went Thursday night and we stayed in a hotel so that we didn't have to like, so I didn't have to drive the 2 hours in like the horrible morning rush hour traffic, because I did that before and it was like, it was so hard. I was so tired. Anyway, we did that, and everything was fine. Thursday, I know that's really a train would be going by right now. We're just gonna wait. Everything was going fine Thursday. I know that's usually my filming day, but I just decided not to vlog. I don't know. But yeah, so Friday morning I took her to the hospital and she got like checked in and everything, and I waited with her for a little bit, and then I left and went back to the hotel and went to sleep for a couple of hours until they called me and told me that she was out. Yeah, so then I got all her stuff and I packed up and went to the hospital to go wait until she was discharged. And when I got there, she was in recovery, and I went back there to go check on her, and she seemed, you know, relatively okay. She was just like tired and kind of out of it, but you know, she looked okay too. And yeah, so I think I waited there for about another like couple hours until she was actually like released to go home. And so her doctor finally released her, and by this time it was probably around like 2 p.m. or something, and that's like right in the middle of rush hour traffic going back towards home here. So we were gonna be in traffic again, and that's just ugh, lovely. So that would make a 2-hour trip like a 3-hour trip because of traffic. And so we were on the way back home, and my mom, well, she had surgery, like had something like removed from like this area, like from her neck, so that makes sense in a little bit. But we were on the way home, and her face, like it started like swelling a little bit, which, you know, we didn't really think, you know, too much of it, because I mean, you know, she just had surgery, and you know, swelling is something, you know, that can happen. But it like kept getting bigger as we were driving, and I was like, well, that's not normal. But we were like, it literally took us like an hour to just drive like 40 minutes away from where we were at the hospital. So we were driving for a long time, and we get pretty much to like the halfway mark of home, and then my car, the steering wheel started like shaking like really bad, and I was like, well, something's not right, and I couldn't really like drive the car. Wasn't really driving like it was supposed to. I didn't know like exactly what was going on, but like I thought maybe it was like the engine or something. And so I pulled over, and come to find out we had a flat tire, and I was just like, wow, this is just not the time for this to be happening. But yeah, we had a flat tire. I'm just so thankful that the tire didn't like blow or something, and because that would have been like really bad. And that's like one of my biggest fears, like when I'm driving, like having that happen, and like that kind of happened, and I was like, scared me so much. And I felt like so bad for my mom, because you know, she didn't feel well, she was in pain, and she like didn't look very good at the time. Okay, so my battery is about to die, but I'm gonna try to get through as much of this as I can before I have to charge it, because I don't know where my backup battery is right now. So we pulled over, and like I don't know how to change a tire. I didn't know what I was doing. And so luckily we have a spare tire in our trunk. We had one in our trunk, and so I called the insurance company, because we have roadside assistance with our insurance company. So I called, which is usually something I usually wouldn't do, because you know, I have like really bad like anxiety, and like talking to people is just not something that I'm like super comfortable with, nor do I really know what I'm doing when I'm making important phone calls. But my mom really wasn't in a position to do it, so I called, and they said that it was going to take them like an hour and a half to get to us. And I was just like, are you kidding me? That was horrible. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, what can we do? So we had to wait for the tow truck. Thankfully, the tow truck got there in probably like maybe 30 minutes, if that, and he took off our flat tire and he put the spare one on there. And then I asked him, how far can you drive on a spare tire? And he told me about like 50 miles. And it just so happened that we were like 70 miles away from home, so I didn't think I wanted to like risk like something happening to that tire. So we made the decision to get another hotel and just stay in the city that we were currently in. And yeah, so we did that, and we got to the hotel room. I went to the store and got some stuff that we like needed to go through the night. We stayed at like a extended stay, so there was like a little mini kitchen in there. But I just went and got some stuff. I got some ice for my mom, and we went back to the room, and I got her some ice to put on her face. I kept telling her that, you know, I think you should go to the hospital, because that's just not right. Like, she was like really swollen, like super swollen. But she was like, no, I'm just gonna put the ice on here and see if it'll go down. And I was like, I couldn't make her go, but like I just kept saying that I think we should go. And so she put the ice on her face, and then she started saying that it was like getting kind of hard to swallow, and that she was having like a little bit of like trouble breathing. So I was like, you know, we really should go to the hospital. And she was like, okay, we'll go to the hospital. So I found the nearest hospital where we were, and we went there, and they took her information. They took her straight back through. We didn't wait like at all, which I told her we wouldn't. She was thinking that we would be waiting for a while, but we didn't wait at all. And the doctor walked into the room, and she was like, whoa, like, you're really swollen. And I was like, yeah. So, you know, the doctor walks in and they're like surprised, you know it's bad. But yeah, so, you know, they did a couple tests, like they took some blood and everything, and then they took her for a CT scan to see what was going on. And then we had to wait for those results, which seemed like forever. And then the doctor came in and told us that she, this part's like hard for me to talk about. I'm gonna try not to cry, but they told us that she was like bleeding like internally, like her face. So the swelling that was on her face was not from swelling, it was like blood like collecting like in the side of her face. And they were saying like there was like the blood vessels in her face or like jaw area where like one of them like burst, and there were a couple more that looked like they were about to burst. And so they said that they had to get an ambulance and send her back to the hospital where she had the surgery in the Bay Area, which I wasn't too happy about, because, you know, that doctor, like, he messed up. He didn't realize that something was wrong. And also the fact that I couldn't go with her because like my car was there at the emergency room, and then I had to get the tire fixed, so I couldn't go with her. And then I think she went to the restroom. I was like holding it together at this point, but then like she went to the restroom, and then like I just kind of like, I broke down and I just started crying, because like I thought that that was the last time that I was gonna see her. And like I was trying to like not cry. I didn't want my mom to see me like crying or like upset, but when she came back in the room, she could tell that, you know, I was like crying. And like I hugged her, and sorry. Never thought that I'd be crying on YouTube. But I hugged her, and honestly I just thought that that was like the last time that I was gonna see her. And yeah, I didn't want to leave her, but like there wasn't really anything. It was at this point too, it was like almost 3 o'clock in the morning, so she told me to like go ahead and go back to the hotel, and so I did that, and I hugged her one more time. I had to like sit in the car for a minute and like pull myself together enough to be able to drive back to the hotel. And so I got there, and then I wasn't really hungry, but I hadn't eaten anything like that whole day, like at all, like Friday all to like 3 a.m. like I hadn't eaten anything. So I just ate some of a pizza that I got from Walmart, and then I took a sleeping pill because I didn't think that I would be able to sleep, and I knew that I needed to get some sleep. So I did that, and then I woke up at about 8 a.m. and my mom texted me when she got to the hospital, so she got there safely and everything, and then I went to sleep, and then I didn't hear anything else. And then when I woke up at 8 a.m. I hadn't gotten any like phone calls or anything, and so that kind of like really worried me. Like I thought that something was wrong, and I woke up and I was like literally like shaking, like I was like shaking, and I think like the air conditioning was on like really low, so I think it was a combination between like I was just like I had the chills, and I was just literally like shaking because I was like so terrified that something had happened. So I called the hospital, and I talked to the nurse, and she told me that she made it through the surgery, and she was doing okay. She was just in recovery, and that they were going to admit her to the hospital. And so I was just like so thankful that she was okay, because I was just like, I don't know like what I would do without my mom. Like she's like my best friend, so I was just so glad that she was okay. So they told me that to call back in a couple hours when we got a room for her. So okay, so my battery is charged now. I ended up going to the grocery store, and I just got back, so the lighting changed. It's because it's starting to get dark now. But I think I left off with her being admitted. So they admitted her, and then I was still left with the task of going to get the tire fixed, because yeah, I'm gonna go buy a new tire. Yeah, I forgot to say we couldn't get it fixed that night because everything had just like closed, so we had to wait until the next day. But anyway, I went to Walmart to go get the tire fixed, and by this time I was just like worried about my mom, and I was like so like just stressed out and like freaking out of like all of like the phone calls and all of the like talking to people that I've had to do in the last day or so, because it's something that I don't usually do. It's not something that's like easy for me like at all. But I had to go get the tire fixed, so I went there, and the woman that was outside that greets you at the tire oil change repair spot, she got the tire number, and I took it inside to the desk at the auto center, and the woman that worked there, she was like new, or like she was new in that department or something, and she had no idea what she was doing. And I just at this point I couldn't take it anymore. Like usually I'm a really patient person, but I was just like so over everything. And so at this point I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't know anything about tires. I am having to like talk to people again, and she doesn't know what she's doing. I'm here by myself. I'm worried about my mom. And so at this point, like I had my shades on still, and I was just sitting there like trying to like hold back the tears. Like I just felt like I was just about to start crying in the middle of Walmart, and I did not want to do that because I don't like drawing attention to myself. So I was just sitting there like trying to like stay calm and like not just like start bawling right there. And so she got my information and everything, and so I like left. I didn't leave the store. I just like went to another spot in the store. I actually went into like the bathroom at Walmart and went into a stall in case I just started crying, which I kind of did a little bit. And then so I collected myself, and then I left the bathroom, or I left the restroom, and I was just walking around the like CDs and electronics department, and then I got a page from the auto center to come back there, and the lady that did my tire order form thing, she put the wrong tire on the order, so I had to do it all over again, and that was just candy. And so I had to wait like even longer. So I think I was at Walmart maybe close to like 2 hours. And so yeah, so finally got the car fixed, and I paid for it. And then I felt bad because I couldn't go back to go see my mom because it was too far. Like she was like too far away, and like there was like nowhere for me to stay, and I didn't know how long she was going to be there, and like I couldn't afford, like we couldn't afford for me to just like stay at a hotel for the duration of her stay at the hospital. So I just ended up driving home, and then everybody was like asking me like how she was and everything, and I told them. I called back to the hospital to check on her, and said she was doing okay. They wanted to transfer me to her room, and I was like no, because I didn't figure she wanted to talk, because yeah. So I just wanted to talk to a nurse, but the nurse wasn't available. They transferred me to the nurse's station, and then I got hung up on. So that was that. And then I tried to call back again, and I wanted to see how she was doing. They said they couldn't tell me anything because, you know, like privacy laws and stuff, I understand. So my mom talked to the nurse to let them, you know, talk to me, but she never called me back. But then my mom was able to start texting because she still had her phone, so she started texting me and giving me like updates and stuff. And so that's pretty much how I stayed in contact with her while she was at the hospital. Never really got to go like visit her or anything, because I felt so bad and like really missed her. I just wanted to be there with her, but I couldn't. So there's something that I forgot to add, something else that happened. When I got back home Saturday night from getting a tire fixed, I started feeling like really sick. Like I was like super nauseous and just like really tired. So I just like got some Sprite and I like laid down for a couple hours, and then I woke up and I I threw up twice, which for me, like, that never happens. Like, I never get sick. Like, I never like throw up. The only time I do that is like if like I have like the stomach flu or like the flu or something like that. And so I was like, well, why am I throwing up? Because like I didn't feel like I had the stomach flu because it was only like those 2 times. But then like I just figured that it's probably like food poisoning, I guess, from the pizza I ate from Walmart, I guess, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, that happened. So she was there from Saturday, and they released her on Wednesday, and they released her like Wednesday like evening. So she ended up going to stay the night with my uncle that is out there. He was nice enough to let her stay for a night with him. And so I went the next morning to go get her. And the last part of the story is the story of her medicine, because it just couldn't end there, could it? So she got a prescription for some pain medicine when she got discharged, and my uncle took it to the pharmacy, and then they looked at it and said that it got written wrong. The doctor wrote the prescription wrong, like of course he did. And then so it was like the doctor's office was like closed by then, so we had to wait until the next morning for the pharmacy to fax them the correction, for the doctor to fax them the correction. So they did that, and then the pharmacy ended up writing on the actual prescription the correction of the medication, which is like a big no-no for the type of medicine that she had. So that kind of like voided the prescription. But anyway, by the time I got there, they still hadn't filled the medicine, and so I called to check on it, and they said, oh, they're doing it now. And then we were gonna be gone on the way back home in plenty of time to get here before the traffic like got bad again. But that didn't happen. And so it was about like 1 o'clock or so, my mom got a call from the pharmacy, and they said that the medicine that she needed from their shelf was expired. Like, why would they keep expired medicine on the shelf? Like, oh my gosh. And so like at that point, like they said, we can order it, but it's not going to be here until like Tuesday or something. It's like, well, we're leaving now, we're not going to be here. So yeah, so we ended up just leaving. I was going to try to fill it when we got home. It ended up taking us like 3 hours to get home again. And then we went into a pharmacy here, and we tried to get the medicine, but they were saying that they couldn't do it because the prescription got voided because of the pharmacist wrote on the prescription the correction. And then, well, they said, can you like call the other pharmacy and have them fax over the correction? I said, no, you can't do that. So that was a thing. And then so we just ended up going home, and she had some medicine, but this one was like a little bit different. So anyway, the next day I get up and I go to another pharmacy here, and I get in there and it says that the pharmacy was closed due to an emergency. The entire pharmacy was closed. I was just like, really? Like, I've never seen that happen before. But I was like, okay. So anyway, I ended up going to another pharmacy across town, and the pharmacist, like, she was saying the same thing. Is there something we can do because the prescription is void and everything? And so I went outside and I called the pharmacist from the original pharmacist from back in the Bay Area. And he called and talked to them, and I think that they might have done it, but then when they went to go order the medication, because they didn't have it in stock either, they said that apparently that medicine is discontinued. So yeah, that medicine is discontinued now, which I would think someone would have figured that out before then, but no, they didn't. So he was saying that just because it's discontinued, you're probably not going to be able to find that anywhere, so you're going to have to get your doctor to get you a different medicine. So yeah, that happened, and I'm probably leaving something out, but that is like the gist of my week. And it was just been super stressful and overwhelming and crazy, but I'm just so glad and thankful that my mom is here safe and okay. She's doing okay now. She's still in pain and she's a little bit swollen, but she's doing okay. I'm just so glad she's okay. But yeah, that is basically my week. So I'm sorry that I hadn't I can't talk. Sorry that I haven't been vlogging, but I'm gonna get back into it now. And yeah, in the next vlog that I post, I'll tell you guys the story in my bed, because that's another crazy story. But yeah, that is it. I will talk to you all next time. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media, link down below, and don't forget to hit that red subscribe button to like my channel. Bye. This little squishy's birthday. Happy birthday. You're getting old. You're 8 years old today. You know that? You don't care? You're 8 years old.